Now, a company the size of HP, Hewlett Packard, even with this appropriate title, I still cannot go. Another one bites the dust. That's not happening here. But for such an awesome recovery we've had over the last several years, and let's not forget Ford laying off approximately, 20,000 of their employees out of a 200,000 employee workforce. Add same kind of number as far as at least percentage-wise. Hewlett Packard Enterprise to lay off 10% of its staff. This is from wolfstreet.com. Master of share buybacks and revenue shrinkage does what it does best. Hewlett Packard Enterprise, which blew nearly $2 billion on debt-funded share buybacks over the 3 quarters of its fiscal year 2013, even as revenues were falling, and did fall 7%, will do the only other thing that, in addition to share buybacks and revenue shrinkage, it has been doing really well for years, since it was still the full-blown Hewlett Packard mass layoffs. The company will axe about 10% of its workforce or employees. That would amount to at least 5,000 workers of its workforce of about 52,000. The cuts will hit employees, including managers, in the U.S. and abroad. People familiar with the matter told Bloomberg. CEO Meg Whitman has been redoing the company since she took the job in 2011 after she lost out in her efforts to become governor of California. At the time, Hewlett Packard, as it was still called, had 350,000 employees. After serial layoffs came some big divestitures. PCs, printers, business services, and some software units had to go. This includes the largest breakup in U.S. corporate history, spinning off the PC and printer division to create 2 companies, which is her HPE and the PC business, HP Inc. HPE sells cloud services, hardware and software, servers, storage equipment, networking equipment, integrated systems and software, consulting, services such as operational support, and financial services such as IT financing. It is now down to about 52,000 employees. After the layoffs, it will be closer to 47,000, a mere shadow of the former Hewlett Packard, and it will continue to shrink. In June, she announced a 3-year plan, the HPE Next Initiative, to cut costs by $1.5 billion. But that's not what these layoffs are about. These layoffs are part of a separate plan to slash costs in the second half by $200 million to $300 million. So this is just the beginning. HPE Next will then take over with more cuts to come. Quote, "We are actually clean sheeting both the operating model and the organizational structure to simplify how we work," Whitman told analysts on September 5th during the earnings call for the third quarter. "With fewer lines of business and clear strategic priorities, we have the opportunity to create an internal structure and operating model that is simpler, nimbler, and faster," she said. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it freaking amazing that every time I read one of these kinds of stories to you, no matter who's publishing it, because they're quoting these people talking to CEO in a conference call, they somehow spin it to where it sounds good. This is going to be a good thing. This is going to be great. With these stupid words, with fewer lines of business and clear strategic priorities, we have the opportunity to create an internal structure and operating model that is simpler, nimbler, and faster. Who the hell says that? Simpler, nimbler, and faster. It's got to sound good, but we got to axe a bunch of employees. And by the way, a number I'm giving you now, 10%. Baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something that you're never going to forget. Because next year, the cuts will come again. So 10% may ultimately turn to 20%. Hell, may go higher. Who knows? Right, but they got to start off somewhere and then give you this spin, this fluff. These corporate pigs, master of fluff. Oh, it's going to be a good thing. Huh. I thought you breaking into my house and stealing my stuff is a bad thing. No, no, no. We can get in quicker, faster, and nimbler. Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, never mind. All right. I'm good. Steal my stuff. During the quarter, the company bought back $625 million of its own shares. This brought the three-quarter total to $1.94 billion, financed with, you got it, quick look surprised, borrowed money, as long-term debt rose by $2.4 billion year over year. During the same period, HPE booked a net loss, by the way, of $180 million. HPE shares have plunged, by the way, 40% so far this year. Now that's no cryptocurrency there. That's no ICO. It would have went up maybe 400%, then maybe. At least in most of these things, or some of these things. But nope, HPE shares are down, plunged 40% so far this year, despite the massive share buybacks. Is anyone else still buying the shares? But news of the layoffs are perking them up this morning, up nearly 1%. And when I say this morning, it's actually September 22nd. This is when this article was written, which was Friday. Up 1% as the company pursues its apparent goal to cut itself to zero, while taking on even more debt, which it can as long as the bond market remains in denial. And the bond market is in denial. Even on the day bankruptcy rumors surfaced. Toys R Us, you heard about that one. I talked about that one about a week ago. So, right, even on the day bankruptcy rumors surfaced, Toys R Us bonds were trading at over 90 cents on the dollar. 2 weeks later, the company filed for bankruptcy and the bonds collapsed below 20 cents on the dollar. The bond market just didn't want to see it. Read, Toys R Us melts down, files for bankruptcy, and bonds collapse. And again, I'll link this article. Take care.